welcome to the All by the Popcorn podcast. I'm Alessandra.
And I'm Emily.
And today we are talking about a movie that I guess was on our roulette wheel, correct?
Yep, I don't really remember who picked it, who put that on there. Maybe it was me. I know that I had seen Stranger Than Fiction like a long time ago. And I remembered enjoying it. And maybe you and I just wanted to rewatch it. I don't really remember.
I remember seeing this movie, and I think I put it on the list because I thought it was a very good movie when I saw it.
Because wait, is this ABC or is this Quarantine Roulette Wheel?
It's Roulette Wheel because our ABC, like I said, is that Miyazaki movie. That
Oh shit! I need to have that ready then.
We do have a lot of movies coming up in the next few weeks and in like the next month. So
yeah, it's getting to award season. So
well,
all the good shit's coming out.
Yeah, it's coming. So definitely we are going to have a lot to talk about on that front. But yeah, so Stranger Than Fiction, it is from 2006. And I'm pretty sure I saw this one in the movie theaters with my mom.
Really?
Yeah.
Did I see it in theaters? I don't know. I really don't know.
It's kind of a random movie. Like, we were young, but I definitely remember it. And I thought it was a very cool concept, at the time, and I remembered it. So it's probably why I stuck it on the list.
Mm-hmm. And I think we had this under what genre did we have this under? Sci-fi.
I guess
does that seem right? Now that I watch it, no.
No, I would say it's a narrative. Kind of like, I don't know, like flopping the narrative. I don't know what else to say. Like,
what does IMDb say? Comedy, drama, fantasy.
Fantasy, yeah. Like,
there you go.
It is, but it's like based in the very specific concept of this being a movie.
Yeah.
And it's built around all of the conventions of movie making, in which we have a narrator, and then we have the character that the narrator is narrating. And then basically, I guess the concept is, what if that character could hear the narrator? And
yeah,
it kind of goes from there. So did you like this movie?
Yeah, I didn't. I enjoyed watching it a second time. I just feel like I remember like really liking this movie. Like and I enjoyed it. I'm not like in love with it, but I enjoyed watching it a second time. I think I really like it just because it's a very different role that I feel like we see Will Ferrell in a lot of his roles. Like his character is like, he tries to be funny, but he's not funny.
I don't know. Like, I don't think he's really trying. I think he's just playing the character that was written for him.
I mean, but some of I guess it seems a bit more dry.
Yeah.
Like,
very
kind of some
dry.
of the things he says. Yes. It's dry. It feels almost like maybe The Office in a way. Like, kind of like just the stuff that he says.
Yeah.
It's just very monotone and very like no enthusiasm. Like, it's just.
Yeah. I loved that, the concept of the fact that the writer of the novel, which is played by Emma Thompson, has been in a writer's block with Harold for 12 years. Therefore, Harold's life has been the same exact thing over and over again for 12 years because she hasn't written anything new for him. So it's kind of like he's stuck in limbo. And I thought that was really creative.
Is that what happened? Because yeah, because when they were in the when they were in the scene, in that guy's office, and he was watching an interview from 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. She was talking about the book.
The book that Harold's in.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Really? So he was really just in this never-ending carousel of his life, just going to work and and come back home and brushing his teeth 32 times on each side, or whatever, 32 whatever.
Yeah, and I didn't remember all of those graphics that were in the beginning of the movie, with
all the numbers and drawings and stuff. I remember those.
Yeah, I didn't remember that. I definitely remembered, honestly, most of the very key points of this, which are Maggie Gyllenhaal and like her character and everything, and him like falling in love with her, and also him bringing her flowers. I remember that very, very clearly, and I thought that was so cute when I was like 12.
That was very cute. That was very cute. One thing I did forget about this movie was that Queen Latifah was in it.
Me too. Completely forgot that Queen Latifah was in this movie. Some of me remembered that Dustin Hoffman was in this movie, but not Queen Latifah.
Oh yeah, I barely remembered that Dustin Hoffman was in this movie. It was Emma Thompson, Maggie Gyllenhaal, and Will Ferrell.
They're the main ones. And Emma Thompson plays such a funny character. I mean, this woman, it looks like she's a drug addict. Like, she's just so... Yeah. She has all, like, so many... She smokes so many cigarettes, or her eyes are always, like, baggy. You know?
Yeah.
She was a lot more of a kind of nutty character than I remember.
Yeah. And so it's interesting that even though Harold is... No, I guess everything that Harold did was in the book, because it seemed like there were, like, when the narrator wasn't talking to him, they can kind of, like, go off book. But then again, she would still write about that. Like, we would learn that she was writing about that later. Like, with the guitars and the...
well, he could hear that part. I don't know. Yeah, it definitely kind of came and go for him. And it was like...
But the day where he stayed home and did nothing.
Yeah.
Like was that in the book?
I don't think it was. No.
Okay.
So yeah, he wasn't like entirely, like, not everything was in the book, but what she wrote down was what we heard in his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's, this was kind of like in a time where a lot of other kind of, I wouldn't say that this is like normcore, but it's definitely kind of closer to that, where it's very like subdued filmmaking. Like, it's not like there's a lot of flashy things going on other than those graphics.
Other than the writing, really.
Yeah, in the writing. Yeah. And so the way that we're like presented to this character and the way that it's written is actually quite like normal, and he's actually quite detailed. Like, he works at the IRS, and it's so very specific, the things that he has to do. He goes to visit, a client, like somebody who hasn't been paying their taxes. And it just seems like it's a really good screenplay. Like, it's like one of those things that, because everything is so specific in this movie, it kind of makes the screenplay shine, and the actors make the screenplay shine. And it's just kind of one of those unique, like, indie films that the screenplay is uniquely good. And I think that's what really makes it work.
Yeah, and Emma Thompson's, like, narrating of the book, like, even the book sounded interesting. Like, I really wanted to read it. Like, she really played the part of a writer's block author, like, very well. And how she would go around, like, trying to figure out how to kill Harold. What's his name? Harold Crick?
Harold Crick. Yes.
Yeah.
this writer
It
who
was
is
very funny.
Zach Helm.
That name sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's been he's written several things, including Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium, which I did not see that movie.
Oh. I don't think I saw that either.
But he's got this TV movie called Good Canary from 2009, and then this movie Deepwater that is coming out in 2022. That has Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas in it. So that's probably where they met.
Ooh, and the director also directed Finding Neverland. I remember watching that movie with you.
Yes, so that is Mark Forster. This is definitely a very kind of similar Finding Neverland kind of movie, I would say.
Yeah.
Good director. It's just, again, it's an indie movie. It's kind of fun. It's different for somebody like, it kind of made me think about how Jim Carrey is in some more serious movies like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. This one kind of felt like that. Of course, it wasn't Charlie Kaufman, so it didn't have that kind of Charlie Kaufman-esque situation, but it definitely was more of a...
I had made that connection as well. I was like, it felt very much like, because, it just seemed like, fairly normal, but like something is off. Like something very minuscule is like off. It's like everything's fairly normal, but there's that one thing that's happening that's like a little like paranormal, like kind of, something that's not right.
Yeah, and then obviously like the concept of this kind of works with the ending of it as well, where the ending of the book that she writes when they go to, like, Harold goes to see Dustin Hoffman about the ending of the book after he meets up with the writer, and
yes,
he's like, read the book. So he reads the book and he's like, you have to die, Harold. This is like a really good ending and you have to die.
Yeah,
And he's like, okay.
That scene was a little hard to believe.
Yeah.
A little, because like who would ask someone to die? I mean, really. But I did like that aspect of it where like when she does end up meeting Harold and she's like, oh my god, how many people have I maybe killed? Because all of her characters die in all of her books.
Yeah.
And the guilt and just weighing down on her. She's like, do I really kill Harold or do I figure something else out? And it's just, and the fact that Dustin Hoffman's character was like, you have to die, Harold. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't really remember that scene. I do remember that scene, but I remember it being more like, I don't know, like poetic, or like meaningful. Like watching it again, I was like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Because the movie in itself feels very like poetic in a way, or like ironic, or like metaphorical. Like with his watch always being on time, and
yes,
it sounded like it would have been a very good book, like because of the what did they say, like the day he got his watch like freaked out and he asked the time of someone whose watch was like 3 minutes off or something, and so his whole life from that time forward was 3 minutes off, and it made the world of difference. Which is very interesting. Yeah, I feel like I just remember watching this movie and being like, this movie is so smart. I'm so smart for watching this movie.
Yeah. I mean, watching it
and liking
at 12, it's a smart movie for when you're 12. It's not as smart when you're an adult.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
What a deep and complex movie. That's
so
what
true.
I feel like was going through my mind when I was watching it.
Okay, so like when you're comparing movies, like The Truman Show is also kind of like that, where I watched that.
Yeah.
I watched that actually on a plane more recently, and I remember thinking to myself when I was younger and I saw that movie, wow, this movie's so deep and complex. And I watched it again and I was like, there's a lot of complex things in this movie, but it's simpler than I remembered, right? Like this is a lot simpler of a concept and a reality than I actually remembered. Which is 100% great, because movies need to have that simplicity and they need to have the we need to impart our own personal like complexity onto things sometimes instead of stuff being just told to us. So that's good, and I generally really like that. But then, you know, obviously also comparing it to Eternal Sunshine, that movie is good when you're young, it's good when you're old, it's just good all the time. It's not like it's too simple. It's actually just the right amount of complex and interesting and weird.
Unfortunately, I didn't see it when I was younger, but it held up. It held up when we watched it for the podcast.
It definitely
was a very fun movie, and now I own it.
That's right. Now you own Stranger Than Fiction as well, right? That's how you watched this.
I sure
on DVD.
For some reason, I didn't want to rent it from whatever, whatever.
You could not. There was absolutely no place to rent this movie currently. Right.
How did you watch it?
I was creative.
Okay. Say no more. But yes, luckily I was able to find the movie.
Yes,
I checked
on DVD.
We went to like 5 different Goodwills and like Salvation Armies and stuff, and I checked every movie section, and I think on like the 3rd one we went to, they had it, and I was like, yes, which was crazy because I saw like a million Peter Pans.
Yes, which you got as well, and you got 2 Moulin Rouges.
I bought 2 nice edition Moulin, 2-disc Moulin Rouges. Even though I already own the movie, so now I own 3 Moulin Rouges for some reason. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to be looking at the DVD section in all the Goodwills going forward, because you might find some gems in there.
I've got a lot of DVDs that you can have. Because I don't watch DVDs
I don't mind
anymore.
still carrying DVDs, because as long as you have, my PlayStation still plays DVDs. What I would love is like a tape player. I need to always have with me a tape player.
VCR? VHS player?
Yes, a VHS player.
Uh-huh. Do you have one of those?
I think my parents still have a TV with a VHS insert on it, or they might still have their DVD VHS, like dual.
I thought you had one that was like a race car
machine.
Didn't you have one that looked like a race car?
That's our rewinder. Our tape rewinder.
Oh, it doesn't.
It's a race car. Yes,
that's right.
Yes, it's shaped like a race car. The top, you hit it, and then the top slides, goes up, and you slide the tape in.
Yeah.
And then when you push it down and it starts rewinding, the little lights at the front of the car turn on. And it just rewinds your movie.
I did it by hand or with the TV.
Yeah, I mean, do it with the TV. Don't do it by hand. Why would you do that? It's horrible.
When I was a kid, I used to twist them. I think I told you this once, but we had a VHS of Cats, the stage play.
You sure did. I sure know the story, but you know what? The fans need to know the story. They need to know what act of criminal injustice you did.
Yeah, so I really hated Cats when I was the stage play. I love Cats, the actual pet, but the stage play made me so angry that I took it out of the VHS and I took out the little piece of tape inside the VHS and I snipped it with some scissors and then I put it back in and I put it away. And then when it got played, eventually my mom was like, "Oh, it's broken."
Oh, how'd that happen?
Oh, I don't know.
Alessandra murdered a musical classic. I'm just kidding. I also hate Cats, so that's fine.
I clearly despised it as a child, so I did that. But okay, back to Stranger Than Fiction. So, what did you think of Maggie Gyllenhaal's character in this movie?
I remember her being really cute. like just you know, being rebellious, you know, being I definitely remember very, very well that she purposely didn't pay her tax. I remember this, like, whether I understood what that really meant.
I don't remember that at all. I really don't.
Because I definitely remember their back and forth of, like, you need to pay your taxes. And she's like, I paid 78% of them. And stuff like that. And I remember really liking her. I mean, I don't remember, like, she doesn't have too much screen time. I mean, obviously, because this movie's, like, mostly about Will Ferrell's character, but I remember them being cute. I remember their little romance being cute.
Yeah, to me, she kind of felt, well, obviously, she only exists to serve Harold, which is,
Yep.
you know, that's the character. She's supposed to do that. So she's like, she, you know, obviously falls in love with him or whatever too, or really likes him, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of, on this watch, she kind of seemed like a manic pixie dream girl in a little bit. She definitely has the backing up of somebody who, like, they don't just throw them together and Harold is just interested in her, but it's also a matter of, like, seeing, like, why she would be interested in somebody like Harold. And so I was kind of trying to watch it in that way this time.
Mm-hmm.
And
because they seem very ill-matched in the beginning. Like, you know,
yeah.
he's there for a job. It doesn't seem like he really takes too much of a notice to her until the narrator starts like, I mean, later on he definitely seems like he likes her a lot, but, like, it's kind of sudden. Like, the narrator's like, Harold couldn't help but stare at her longingly, and he's like, oh god, and then she's like, what the fuck are you looking at?
Yeah. She's like, you're staring at my
it's
tits.
a little sudden.
Yeah Her, like, braless, like, kind of mid-2000s tank tops.
Yeah.
Did you see that tiny little jacket that she wears when she makes him cookies?
I think so.
That was like a little,
so.
It was like here. It, like, stopped above her boobs. Like
a little cropped jacket or something? Like a little cropped,
It was like a bolero, but didn't go over her boobs. It, like, stopped here. You don't remember?
Vaguely. No. No.
I gotta find a picture of this.
Yes, please find a picture of it. What I do remember seeing is when he goes over to her house, and they're sitting on the couch. Yes. I see that really cute blanket with, like, the little popped up flowers. Like, it looks like it's crocheted, and
her
like
house
the little
was
flowers
decorated very well.
Yeah.
Great production design for her and her whole thing. Like, all that stuff. Her outfits, her hair, her shop. It all took place in Chicago as well. It was really great.
Yeah, I remember the architecture being super cool. For, like, all the buildings. It made me think of, like, Columbus.
Found a picture. Okay.
Oh, what is it? Yes.
So small.
It is so small. But dude, like, when was this movie? Like, I remember having things that looked like that in my closet. Like, those little 2006.
Yeah.
Like those little things that would just go over your shoulder, but they would just basically just circle around your. They wouldn't close.
It was a bolero.
They just be like little.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tiny bit.
Yes. I remember those. I remember those very well.
It was great. Also, I definitely remember the part when he's playing the guitar in her house and she sits next to him and he's singing the song I recognized as a song that's actually popular right now. Cage the Elephant has done a cover song of this song, Whole Wide Worlds by Reckless Eric. And right now it's getting another like resurgence because it was covered by Cage the Elephant recently.
Cool.
But I just love that. Like, I did not remember that this was the song, and right now it's popular, and it's just kind of crazy to hear a popular song that's popular right now in this movie from 2006. You know, like
Yeah.
a long time ago. Like 2006 was what, like how many years ago? A lot of years ago. 17.
Jesus. Yeah.
17
like,
years ago?
That seems like too many. Well, no, maybe.
No, that's like
Yeah. Math. That's math.
no, it's because so it's 4 plus 10 plus 1. So that's actually 15 years ago. 15 years. This movie's 15 years old.
That's a funny coincidence that we watched this movie that has a song in it that's trending right now.
Yeah, so he's playing the guitar, and I remember her just jumping on his face in the middle of his playing this song, and I just remember thinking that is so cute, and she just goes for it because she's so attracted to him, and it's really cute. Just like,
yeah,
and you hear the guitar like, you know, get all, you know, it's cute.
Yeah, this movie was weirdly heartwarming, even though like Harold knows that he's gonna die, and like,
right,
like, but like it wasn't scary. Like it's like he knew he was gonna die, and he'd read the book, so he knew how he was gonna die. And so it's just like, and you'd think it'd be like more scary than that, but like it really isn't a scary movie. Like it's very wholesome in a way.
Yeah, and
like,
I saw this on many lists of like wholesome movies.
Yeah.
And it kind of loops back because he knew he was going to die, but like I said, the book is supposed to be a book that's like her best book if he died. And then when she goes to see Dustin Hoffman, he's like, well, I don't love the ending's like, okay. And then she goes,
yeah, who's like her number one fan. Like,
yeah,
like Emma Thompson's character, like her author character is like his favorite author, and he's read like all of her books, and so yeah.
And just what she says there is so meta because she's like, well, we've spent all this, you know, this person that is in the book doesn't know that he's going to die, but the real Harold does. And when the real Harold dies anyway, you want him to live. Like, you want him to, because he went so headfirst into death to save a little boy. The story actually is a lot more redeemable if he lives in the end, which is exactly what happened, because we're watching a movie about a man who knows he's going to die versus reading a book about a man who doesn't know he's going to die. And so it was like, she says this line and I'm like, oh, so that's why the movie is good, but that book that she wrote in the narrative of this movie is not.
It's not good.
Wrong.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
And then I was like, oh, you just were like saying to us that this is why you didn't want to kill him. Because
little did he know.
I mean, the writer of this movie says this is why we didn't kill him. Yeah, little did he know. It's so meta when you think about it. That's why the kind of simpleness of it really works, and the not going into the science of it or questioning the magic of it at all.
Yeah, we never understand how he was able to hear her, or if in fact she had killed those other people. I mean, if this happened to Harold, were all of her books based in Chicago? Like, could all of her people been like in like, or would she just like kind of like, she never really delves into that? Like,
it's pretty vague, but
maybe been interesting to another look into. But
Well, we
but this
follow
little snapshot.
those people from the very beginning, the boy on his bicycle and the woman who got the job as the bus driver, from the very beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, from the very beginning. Like, you see the boy riding around town, being a menace, almost getting hit many times. And then you see the lady, like, out in, like, a nice suit, like, probably looking for a job, and, you know, she gets sprayed with water by a passing car. Or no, I think someone, like, bumps into her.
Yeah,
and,
they,
spills on her.
Water. Or, like, they're spraying the sidewalk and she's there.
Yes!
Yeah.
Spraying the sidewalk. And then you see her, like, get her job as the bus driver, and it's her first day driving, and then she hits someone, which is, like, traumatizing.
Yeah. And I love that they had at the end that it was, like, just a little bit of compassion. Like, the women who were helping out the bus driver after she hit Harold, and because she was, like, so horrified, and they were, like, actually, like, helping her because she was in, like, that kind of state.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, shocked.
Yeah.
Like, in shock. Like, crazy. I don't even want to ever know what that feels like.
Right. And it's like, this was written into the movie, and we got to know this woman a little bit because we followed her throughout the entire movie. So, again, it's just, like, back to this kind of kooky screenplay. That was made into a
very,
movie.
very well rounded. It makes a nice little circle. Like, it's really well thought through.
I'm gonna just read some trivia because it seems like I don't know anything about this movie. So
yeah.
It says the first one is, while filming, Will Ferrell wore an earpiece that fed him Dame Emma Thompson's narrative lines in order to assist the other cast members in reacting more naturally to Ferrell's seemingly non sequitur lines.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I liked that Dustin Hoffman was, like, this professor, and I enjoyed that he had, like, multiple jobs. Like, he was, like, the lifeguard at the pool.
Yeah.
It was just, like...
Yeah. And then also a professor, and then also, like, kind of acting as not really a therapist, but, like, he was, you know, helping Harold with his mystery.
Yeah. The title of the movie comes from a famous quote from Lord Byron's Don Juan. "'Tis strange but true, for truth is always strange, stranger than fiction. If it be told, how much would novels gain by the exchange? How differently the world would men behold."
Aw.
Yeah. Which, I mean, stranger than fiction it's a reference to this Don Juan, and it's a direct reference that people say all the time now. Because it's, like, it's common. It's in there. It usually means things that are going to, like, that real life can often be something that is unbelievable. You know?
Yeah.
Just the happenstance and things that happen.
Oh, look at this one. So, Dame Emma Thompson wore no makeup in this movie.
Oh my god, that's amazing. That's great.
That's awesome. And then the name of Anna Pascal's bakery is The Uprising.
That's amazing as well. She was really fun, and then her, like, little backstory about how she went to Harvard and then she fell in love with baking instead, and she was like, I want to do this.
Yeah, like these side characters, like they really took the time to kind of give us a little bit of backstory. Like even the bus driver and the little boy. I mean,
yeah,
like
it's kind of a long movie too. You know, it
really was, and very detailed. There's I remember hearing this too, but when Dave, Tony Hale's character, turns on the light in his apartment, it makes the same sound as the communicators make on Star Trek.
Oh.
And I think I remember hearing that.
That's awesome. This is yeah. I liked his friend too, who wanted to go to space camp. And he was played by the actor Tony Hale, who's in
Yes. Who's in
what's it called?
Arrested Development?
Yes, Arrested Development.
Yes.
Yes. He was great.
And one thing I did learn, because my roommates watched this movie with me, is that Will Ferrell does know how to play the guitar, but this trivia says that Will Ferrell is left-handed, so he played a right-handed guitar in the movie, and that's why he's shown playing a simple song comprising of only 2 chords.
That's still really impressive.
Yeah.
He's a good actor. Like, I've always really liked him, and I'm sure... I don't know, like,
I really liked him in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, I remember his performance, like, standing out to me in this movie and being like, wow, this is great. I like Will Ferrell in these types of roles. Like, I really do.
Because I think people at this time were seeing him in, like, Talladega Nights and Anchorman, and he is, like, the opposite in this movie. He's, like, kind of bland and just trying to become a better person. You know? Yeah. It's cute. This was a fun movie, and obviously there's lots of other really great indie movies out there, but this one is... It's one of the better ones from the 2000s, and I think it ages pretty well. There's not a lot of stuff about it that are it's kind of, you know...
There weren't too many problematic things.
Yeah, that's true. You know, aside from the fact that Maggie Gyllenhaal's character is a little bit like a manic pixie dream girl, it still is cute. Like, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at these plot keywords.
Mm-hmm.
We've got author, fate, professor, novelist, and writer.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
There's that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all right. And a Metascore.
It's in the green.
It's in the green. It got a 67.
That's pretty
which is
good.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is great. Let's take a look at the Metacritic.com. 29 positive reviews, 5 mixed reviews, and 1 negative. Let's take a look. Let's take a look what we got here.
On the bottom of this Metacritic, it's like related movies. The Truman Show.
Yeah. Let's see. The Boston Globe gave it a 38. That's the lowest one we have. Watching the movie made me long for the big, risky ideas and entertainingly fearless filmmaking in David O. Russell's I Heart Huckabees and Spike Jones's adaptation, which Kaufman wrote. Both were similarly conceptual escapades, but they let it all hang out.
Okay, so he wanted it to be more like a Kaufman movie.
Yeah.
And obviously that had a jam-packed group of individuals making that movie a standout kind of movie for sure. But this one is not like that. It's not really that same tone as like a Spike Jones kind of thing. It's just a little bit, I don't know. It's a lot more normcore, as I said before.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this person, Empire said it might be Charlie Kaufman light, which I feel like I really did kind of say. I'm going to read the Chicago Sun-Times, Roger Ebert. 88. What a thoughtful film this is, and how thought-stirring. Mark Foster's Stranger Than Fiction comes advertised as a romance, a comedy, a fantasy, and it is a little of all three, but it's really a fable, a moral tale.
There you go. And let's read one of these mixed review ones. Okay, here we go. And I agree with this one. The Washington Post had given it a 50. There's a problem. The romance isn't developed enough to be truly satisfying. It's fat-free Snackwells when you want Godiva. Okay.
Snackwells are
not
like
the original.
Yeah. Sorry, continue.
It's not the original story we signed up for or thought we did.
Yes,
I mean,
Snackwells are like really like low calorie cookies that taste like cardboard.
Ew.
Yeah. So that's a pretty mean thing to say about this movie. I don't think it's
Yeah.
Snackwells.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't go that far to make a visual image of a visual comparison between sweets, but yeah, no, I definitely don't remember the romance being, and it's not. I don't feel like the romance is kind of what drives the story.
No, it definitely doesn't.
Like it's really just
it's an aspect of Harold's like growth
trying to
as a
figure out
character.
this
yeah,
trying to figure out this narrator in his head and not dying. That's kind of what the main point is.
Yeah, it's more of like a mystery, but also kind of a self-discovery story. So, yeah, it's a lot of things. It definitely is a lot of things. And I think the pace of it, because it's kind of a chill pace, it definitely lends to the, like, not so urgency of it. Like, it kind of is, it's not very hectic, but, I mean, he's concerned about what's going on with him, but he's still living and not going crazy. So...
yeah. I mean, these mixed reviews seem like super harsh.
Yeah. It's
like they're harsher than the one negative review that I got.
I know. How did they like pick those little blurbs about how it's like got low self-esteem or that it's overworked or, you know, there's just so many things. But then, you know, all of like the greens are pretty good. Like this, you know, they're all like doing their own thing. So I would encourage you to go look at that. All of the Metascore. I'm glad it's great. I'm glad it is.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad in the midst of all this harshness, it was able to still keep a green.
Yeah, it's good.
All right. Shall we spin this wheel?
Yes, what is on the wheel? You're just gonna have to tell us because you can't see. Although I can actually put it on here. I'll put it on here.
Do you want to continue it? Do you want to, how about you add it to our recording? Because you're already recording your screen.
Put it right in the middle, so it's gonna show up right now.
All right. What's on the wheel? What's on the wheel?
I'm waiting for you.
Me? You waiting for me? I thought you were going to record it.
Oh no, you have to record on your end and send it to me. I can't record it over here.
Oh, I thought you were gonna include it in our I thought you were screen recording.
I am screen recording this conversation.
Okay.
You need to screen record the wheel on your end, and then and then give me the wheel, and I will put it here. I'm gonna put it right here.
right.
In post.
Okay.
I can't do it right now.
Right. Okay. Right. My bad.
It's okay.
It's
good.
I have to remember how to record. Window button plus G. Got it. Okay, here we go. All right, the movies we have on our Quarantine Movie Roulette wheel are Interview with a Vampire, Top Hat, the musical from 1935, $1 Million Baby, Annie, the musical from 2014, Pan's Labyrinth, and Pearl Harbor. That's what we got.
This is a good bunch of movies. Okay, we got some really bad ones in there. We got some good ones. I'm stoked.
It's a oh shit.
Is it go? Don't do
cool.
it.
It's fine.
I think it's gonna be Top Hat.
Yeah, I'll sign our guess. Good. Okay. All right. Here we go. What do we got? Pan's Labyrinth. That was not Top Hat.
No, it wasn't.
I'm sorry, Alessandra.
You know what it was? I didn't say that it was going to be Pan's Labyrinth because I didn't want it to be Pan's Labyrinth. But it is.
Scary.
It's scary.
But I've always wanted to watch it.
You've
like,
never
like,
seen
even...
it?
No, of course not. It's scary.
Oh, it's not that scary. It's just it's heavy. It's heavy.
It's heavy.
I mean,
maybe
you'll
like a little intense.
You'll see when you watch it.
Great.
It's a very good movie. So I don't.
I've heard. Guillermo del Toro, right?
Yes, Guillermo del Toro in Spanish.
Del Toro. Awesome. Well, that is the movie we get to watch next, Pan's Labyrinth. If you enjoyed this episode, yes, that guy. I know that reference. If you enjoyed this, if you're listening, we put our hands up in front of our eyes because the guy with the eyeballs in his hand, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah.
Because we're also video recording this right now. If you're not watching the video recording, it's on YouTube. Okay. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate and review our show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher. We're also on Apple Music and Spotify. And if you need notifications on future episodes that we release, please follow our social media. We have Twitter, @ByThePopcorn, Instagram, @AllByThePopcorn Podcast, Facebook, just search All By The Popcorn Podcast and like our page. We are on YouTube, where you're probably watching this, All By The Popcorn Podcast. Please subscribe and like this video. I don't know, whatever you want to do, I don't care. And if you want to reach out and say hello to us, please email us at allbythepopcornpodcast@gmail.com. We also have a TikTok, All By The Popcorn Podcast, and we have some merch. So please check that out. Thank you. Thank you for listening and for watching.
Yes. Thanks, everybody.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.